Welcome back to Doodling with Purpose, and I don't say often enough, thank you so much for joining me and joining us every week like this. It's so fantastic to have a great set of students that are coming back week after week. I'm excited to learn with you. All right, so today on Doodling with Purpose, we're looking at, we're going to do a couple things, starting with looking at this word. So this is the word hahar. Or at least that's what it looks like it would be, right? If you were going to read it straightforward, it's what we've been talking about the past couple weeks, about the order of reading glyphs from left to right, up to down, into the faces. Now, this word is actually pronounced Hurry-chabat, if you would also insert, if you will, the vowels. It means, as far as vocabulary, and that's what we're going to work on too, lector, priest. Hence, it's an important word because these were the priests of the temple. Oh, okay, technically it means carrier of the book of ritual. And that's actually a key point with hieroglyphics, is it's all about translating the words and kind of finding the English equivalent because, different cultures. Now, one would think if this was Hare Chabat, it would be written as it is at the top, with the butcher stand followed by the two papyrus leaves, flax, boot, or foot, and hill. So yes, that does spell out Hare Chabat. So why is it spelled flax, butcher stand, foot in that order? That's not even close to the order that it would be written in to be pronounced that way. Oh, and just for continued vocabulary, that first word, herb, is ritual book, and that second word, chabat, or chabut, is the verb to carry. So we'll add that to our list, and I hope you should be making maybe index cards. Okay, so transposition. It's all about transposition, and what is transposition? It is the movement of one thing into a different position around another. And that's what the Egyptians are doing here with the way they're spelling their word. They're taking one letter and moving it deliberately into the place of another and expecting you to still be able to pronounce it the same. And yes, is this a little weird, moving things around? Sure, yes, absolutely. But there's a reason, and this is it. Well, not this one in particular, but walls. That's what Egyptians wrote on. They wrote on stone. Well, they wrote on papyrus too, but a lot of the writing on stone was based around writing around corners, and let's just say they were very good about filling up every bit of space. And that's because the language, the words are elastic, meaning they can be changed in the sense of how they're spelled. They can be made longer, they can be made shorter, and some words have standardized special ways of writing them which are affected by the Egyptian transposition rules. So I'm gonna review those. We talked about them a bit in the fall class, episodes 1 through 100, but we haven't mentioned it in quite a while, and especially for new students, we want to go over this. So this is an important word here. This is ma'at haru. Again, I think around episode 40, we were doing this word, if you want to go back and find it. Very important phrase. It means the justified. It's also kind of their version of sort of rest in peace, meaning when you find it on a tomb, ma'at haru would be like, like putting that on the justified, putting that on a tombstone. So just looking at how we get that out of this, we have M, we have ma'ah, the hoe, or a gardening tool, then we have ma, the open hand for the A. Then above that we have the H with the placenta, followed by the R for the open mouth, which is the R's, the haru. Now we have the or, which is haru, so we've repeated sounds, followed by the W of the chick. So this whole thing could also be written with just the statue stand and the or, because the statue stand is ma'ah and the or is haru. So you could write the same exact word in a very long way or in a very short way. That's exactly what the elastic nature of Egyptian hieroglyphs are about, finding ways to fit what you need to say into a very small space and do it around walls that could maybe end or go around a corner. All right, so there's two types of transposition that are applied when spelling out words. The first type is called graphical, and this is done more or less to ensure that, well, when you write out the word, it's going to look nice. So here's an example of graphical transposition. For those of you, again, from the first set of the class, you may recognize this. If not, let's introduce it to everyone. This is the town of Diju, or Daju. You have the Da for the pillar, D for the hand, W for the chick, and then that circle with the X that looks like the X-Men symbol, that is the symbol for a town or place. So anytime you see that, it indicates it's the word for a town. So again, that's part of the joy of hieroglyphs are the clues. Now, normally you'd think it'd be written as it is on top, but the graphical transposition you see on the bottom, where the determinative is moved to the middle, is done because, well, it makes the word look prettier. It's moved, instead of hanging on the end there and being like a weird, loose circle, the Egyptians were very big into the beauty of their language. So it's simply moved into the middle of the word because you've got two tall signs and then two smaller ones. And they had to fit them. And they wanted it when it fit to, well, sit still and look pretty. What? It's a wall. All right, so that was why one might move a determinative. Another example of this is the common word ma'a, which is the verb to see. Now, this is also an example of a determinative that's moved for graphical transposition. It looks prettier. The I there is not the letter IR. It is the determinative for to see. And of course, the double A is because we're in a verb tense, like the past tense here. Something we went over in the first series was the tenses. So for new students, you're curious, you can go check that out. So that I there is moved. Instead of being at the end of the word as a determinative, it's moved to the beginning simply because it fits graphically better there and it looks pretty. So that's the first type. The second type of transposition is honorific. Now, honorific is it's actually a term that's also about pronouns, or basically honorifics. But in Egyptian, honorifics tend to be certain letters that have holy or special meaning, like the reed with two strokes, Nissa, means king, the flag means Neter is God, and the sun circle with the dot is Ra, which can mean sun or Ra. So an example of honorific transposition is this word here. So this is the word for servant of God, which again could mean priest. Take it literally, it's servant of God. So, or person of God, because you have Neter and Hum. Neter means God, and Hum means person. So putting them together, you get person of God, servant of God, priest. Again, how you would be able to take one culture's word and bring it forward. But it's pronounced Hum Neter. So it's reversed because the flag as one of the honorific glyphs, and we'll go over which ones those are. We've already gone over 3. We'll introduce new ones. It gets moved. If you're confused about it, well, think of it like this scene.
And take back one kadam to honor the Hebrew God whose ark this is.
So, obviously it's not the Hebrew God here. Ra is the God, but same concept, that they're moving letters to honor their gods, or, glyphs that indicate holy things, like kings and gods. Another great example is this word here. So here we have the sun disk, pronounced Ra, and here we have the jug with a handle, which is pronounced Mi. So we would look like this word is Ra Mi. Now, we all know the circle, the sun circle, is can be pronounced R-A, which is also the name of the sun god, and that basket, Mi, can mean like. So Ra means Ra, and like means like.
Mono means one, and rail means rail.
But it is pronounced Mi-Ra. We've moved the word Ra to the beginning to honor Ra, but it's still pronounced in the correct way to say the word. The word does not become Ra-Mi. We're just moving it. All right, I hope this clarified some of the reasons for transposition. If you have questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. I try to check them constantly and get back to anyone who's a student of this class. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a great week.